Good afternoon and welcome back to Let's Play Total War Shogun 2. Currently, the Ikko Ikki are attempting to push us off the coast to the east of Awa, and we have our medium Bune against two Bokabayas. As you can see, they have 60 archers and 16 swordsmen in their fleet, while we have 37 swordsmen and 53 archers. So we are slightly underbowed in that respect, but we do have a superior melee capability. Unfortunately for us, their ships are slightly more maneuverable, and so we will have difficulty closing. Regardless, we should be able to bait them into a ranged fight and take advantage of the medium Bune's high bow and stern in order to minimize archery casualties while maximizing it on the Bokabayas, who, as you can see, have a quite open, flat design and so tend to take reasonably high casualties. In addition, our general for this force, or admiral in this particular case, being on the ship, he's below decks. He's one of the melee troops. While he is a melee troop on this Bokabaya, he's above decks and so vulnerable to arrow fire. So what we're going to do is we've hit battle speed, and what that does is that just gives us that little bit of extra speed. We now go slightly faster than the Bokabayas, although not too much, and that just lets us close the distance and keep the pressure on this general. As you can see, we've lost 3 archers to their 7, so we are in fact ahead of the game here, and we just keep putting shot after shot. Now we're trying to keep this high edge on the firing arc of both of these boats, so to minimize the damage we take, and you can see that we're actually catching a lot of arrows on here from this flanking Bokabaya, so we're doing reasonably well here, and the pressure's on quite heavily, just really trying to close the distance, or at least prevent them from kiting us around. Now, you can see that the morale is already starting to dip, and they're losing archers, but not as fast as perhaps we would like. Now here's the real problem, because we've exposed the lower edges, and that just means that we're going to start taking decent casualties from these guys. But if we can swing round, we just want to try to split them, have them front and rear, so that we've got our 2 most heavily archer-resistant areas of the ship visible. Now, fortunately for us, the Ikko Ikki don't have fire arrows, and fire arrows would make this a real problem because the medium Bunes are really quite flammable when you get down to it, and so that often has ships set on fire, especially if you have the frontage where it hits the structure of the ship rather than inside. So it can be a bit of a two-edged sword, but as you can see, we're just slowly forcing them, so they've got nowhere to go with this island here, and the pressure is just constantly on. Now, any moment now, this ship should start to break. 1 or 2 good salvos would really do it. As you can see, down to half. And we are taking casualties, down to 42 archers, although our melee troops are still in great condition. So if we do manage to close, which is unlikely given that we are significantly slower, we'd be able to absolutely destroy them. Now, this is fantastic. It's wavering. If we can just keep the pressure on, we hit battle speed again, just to try to close the distance and get a little bit, maybe engage. All right, and now we can see that they have broken. The main problem a lot of people have with naval battles in Shogun 2 is it's very, very difficult to actually rout ships. And so they have a horrible habit of coming back when you least expect it, even though they're no real threat. So you'll be fighting the battle, and the ship will be retreating for maybe 5 or 6 minutes, and just make it nearly all the way across the map, at which point it will rally, and then you have to sail your fleet all the way over there to get the job done. So if you can, it's best to try to just keep a little bit of extra pressure on, just to make sure that they're not going to come back, or if you can shatter them. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to have the luxury of shattering this boat in this particular match, as their Bokabaya is starting to catch up and will be putting shots into us while we're not shooting at anything that's combat effective, which is a bit of a waste. Still, with only 1 swordsman and 8 archers left, it's probably going to rout for this short distance here, which should let us do what we need to do. So now, it's simply a matter of bringing our superior firepower to bear against this particular ship. 39 archers to their 30, so we're well ahead of the game, archer-wise. Now you'll notice we're not shooting, and that is because I had board mode selected on this particular ship. If you have board mode selected, your men will not automatically start firing on a target even if they're in range. So what you need to do, and what I did do, was turn board mode off, and then you need to give an attack order, which is probably not what you would expect. You'd think you turn board mode off, they immediately start shooting. This isn't the case. You need to turn board mode off, issue an attack order. There's all sorts of little things with Shogun 2 naval combat that just make it particularly frustrating for people and give them a bad impression of it when you consider how well polished the rest of the game is. But I think it's a little bit undeserved. The naval combat can be quite interesting, but unfortunately AI never really gives you too much opportunity with the big fleet battles to do very much. They tend to be lots of small sorts of fights. And as you can see, it didn't take too much punishment now that the Admiral's off the field, and the fight is over. We've managed to secure victory. Now, unfortunately, what's going to happen is that because they're routing, rather than shattered, or surrendered in the case of ships, is they're just going to sail away, and we're probably not going to capture any of them or sink any of them, which is, once again, one of the particularly frustrating things about Shogun 2 Naval. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, everyone. Thanks for watching.